My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Shadows over Loathing, where in the last episode we've set out a guide for ourselves of what we need to do. That is, of course, uncursing the Librum Umbra Malum Ovila, a book that radiates menace. I'm also going to use Rufus' special rag to wipe off the goo, the -1 to muscle, mysticality, and moxie that was applied to us, such that we would have the ability to actually even interact with the fish mother in the first place. You carefully wipe Rufus's nasty fish goo off of all of your clothes and skin. Hey. And now it's time for some classic uncursing. You sit in the chair, which is surprisingly comfortable, and pull the weird metal dome down over your head. There's 3 buttons on the machine. Uncurse, project, that'll be to project into a previously severed curse, and then neither. Only makes sense to uncurse. The Librum Umbra Malum Ovila. Ita Vero. You offer the grim Latin tome to the machine. Your head tingles as the machine thrums and vibrates. Inhuman vowels ululate in your ear. Dark words form at the tip of your tongue. A cacophony of languages reverberates and resounds, and pow! Suddenly dissipates. The curse is severed from the book. All that nasty Latin has been wiped away, revealing the uncorrupted beauty underneath. It is 101 delicious mutton recipes. Having listed the curse, you realize this now is a cookbook. That is, having lifted the curse, you now realize that this is a cookbook. The book's curse now lives in the machine. You don't think you can project your consciousness into it. Think again, pal, as I do. Ah, I see. We're the Hellion in the day that is shown in the hair comic. Hyla, small bird. Henricus has much confidence to come here alone. I talk to him.
Ave, barbarian.
Hails?
I stand before you in the name of Imperator Gaius Julius Caesar Divus, Dominus of this land. The Imperator's birthday is the next Mercury's day. It is a big birthday. You will be 40. Sign his birthday card, barbarian, and the Empire shall look upon your favor, with favor upon your tribe.
I'm gonna leave. I do have the ability to threaten him, but I'm gonna leave first. Let's get a little bit more of a lay of the land. There's still wisdom left in the old Frida knot, for those who ask the right questions.
Hyla Grimhild.
Hails.
Not often is Latin spoken on our soils without bloodshed. It augurs well for our future.
Henricus offers us much power.
Yeah, the tribes who ally with Empire are greatly rewarded, but I can name no tribe who would be so powerful as you, Grimhild, if you are good to that man.
Frida not, don't speak of marriage at this time.
Ah, why scold me? Would it not go well for our future and yours? A secure peace for all, much power for you, and benefits. Wouldn't you like to have fine silks, Grimhild, and spices, and creams?
Farewell. Argy has lost much to the wolves. Still, he hunts. Hails, Argy.
Spit of a son on Rome, Grimhild. Frapture.
Henricus offers power on top of peace.
Power in return for suckling the sucklings of a she-wolf. That is no power. Argy drinks the milk of bears and he spits on the sons and daughters of Rome.
Argy speaks much too of suckling. Talk plainly.
No truce with the Empire, Grimhild.
Frapture. Farewell for now. Ooh, the curse is still there and remains unsolved. Do we have anything else with which we can interact over this period of time, or are we just gonna have to punch this man in the face because I do not want to sacrifice the tribe? I threaten him. Step aside, Henricus, or I'll go right through you.
I don't respond to threats.
You'll respond to me or you'll die. Look at me, what would happen to the man who stands in my way, or I don't threaten to tear men down the middle. I do it. Okay, well, that one didn't work, so look at me. What would happen to the man who stands in my way?
I don't respond to the rhetorical questions.
Very well. Henricus, tell me, how would you like to die today? Don't respond to open questions. Do you remember what happened when you first annoyed me? I don't respond to recall and process questions. Okay. This time I will keep going until I am rubbing your eyes together in the palms of my hand. Or, I made my thumbs bedfellows of your eyes. Do you remember that? Or, are you attached to your eyes? Do you think you still will be by sunset? I made my thumbs bedfellows of your eyes. Do you remember that? Okay, no process and recall. Got it. No process and recall. I'm just gonna keep doing it. I don't respond to threats. Got it. You'll respond to me or you'll die. I don't respond to threats. Okay, doesn't respond to threats. So first off, we don't threaten here. Okay? And then he doesn't respond to rhetorical questions. So, rhetorical, do you know how many men I've killed? That's not necessarily rhetorical. Excuse me? I mean, we are using it to make... I mean, it's not the common definition of rhetorical, as in there is no answer necessarily required to it. I totally think we could have provided our own answer there. And I don't ask questions. Vex me further and I'll kill your entire family. Don't respond to threats, got it. Look at me, gets us a new line. Henricus, how would you like to die today? So that's... How about we go for the call and response line? So open questions through Henricus. And then, do you remember what happened when you first annoyed me? Don't respond to call and process. I made my thumbs bedfellows of your eyes. Do you remember that? Recall and process. Are you attached to your eyes? Do you think you still be by sunset? Rhetorical? This time I'm gonna keep going and rubbing your eyes together until they're in the palms of my hand. That's a threat, right? Yeah, it takes us back to threat. I'm gonna try the other one, just in case. How would you like to die today? Don't respond to open questions. How much longer do you want to do this? And then the are you attached to your eyes line? Do you think you still will be by sunset? There we go.
Fair Grimhild, it is fairly won. You are right. I wouldn't want to lose my eyes and be deprived of in turn your fine beauty.
Pig, step aside.
Are you attached to your eyes? A sharp wit is yours, O Grimhild. But, oh, if you had only lashed me with a Latin tongue, your barbs would ring more like great poetry.
You bore me with your Latin.
Yeah, Grimhild.
This is a foolish man, he is no danger to you. We may walk past him to see the document itself, a powerful document. A birthday card to Imperator Gaius Julius Caesar Divus is a powerful document. I'm assuming it's Divus, right? There is no better opportunity for the tribes in the north to gain Caesar's notice and favor. I punch the card into the sky. Oh, I created a new constellation with it! Which itself looks like it may have destroyed the uncursing machine. Consummatum est. The curse that once lodged within this forbidden and nasty text has been unwritten and undone, and you find it in a fascinating final chapter you didn't notice before. Upgrade! 111 delicious mutton recipes. Having now lifted the curse, you see it's a cookbook and it grants an upgradable skill, Meaty Expertise, which increases meat drops. You also gain 20 experience for it. I'm excited to cook something. I don't want to say happy birthday Caesar wherever you are, or I'm a vegetarian. I don't really want to read this. I'm just gonna go with the open. Anyone like mutton? No. Alright, read the book. Thank you, Munchley. This book is so much less scary than it used to be, now that it's almost as boring as a real book. This 11-chapter cookbook consists of 1 chapter of actual mutton recipes, preceded by 9 chapters devoted to techniques for securing the mutton in the first place. You're not that interested in mutton acquisition, but the tips have some general applicability. You got an item, Mutton Magnate. You know where to find mutton and mutton-adjacent substances. Plus 30% to meat drops. And there's 1 more chapter? The final chapter has a density of information that is going to take some time to pass. There are some mutton recipes, for sure, but also detailed information on basically every other kind of meat that exists. Do you want me to foray into this text? I start reading. The chapter goes into dismaying detail about all kinds of meat, and you glean some useful facts that will help you find more meat than ever before. Media expertise is 20% now. You know a lot about all kinds of meat. You can further increase media expertise for another 10% extra to meat drops if you have the time and energy remaining to devote to it. I'm gonna keep reading. We do it again. Among all the facts and figures, you learn that the author grew up in a cabin made of meat. That kind of affluence boggles the mind. Another 10% there, and we will need more if we want to continue reading. Neat. Other than that, I think we're basically done with our day. I can't think of too much more that we would want to even do. Necessarily. Hey, Fancy Dan. I was gonna see if I had anything I could hand back to you, but I do not. I think it's time for a nap. I've got a message. You check the message pad next to the phone. There's a note for you. Call Don T with a phone number. I call them up back. Don Toblerone speaking. Don? That was unusually concise. Are you feeling okay? The bus is mad about a telephone bill. I have been encouraged to keep this brief. I see. That's the job. Greasy Steve will have the details for you presently. Okay. I'm really sad that Don Toblerone is not speaking as he previously did. I loved that element of him. Alright, I'm looking for a bus stop so that I can get all the way to SIT campus in Porkham. And then from Porkham, well, I mean, there's probably some wandering around here I can do to discover additional locations still, admittedly. But what I'm mostly looking for... Actually, let's return Rufus's book as well. Advanced Neurological Anatomy grants a perk allowing use of an extra item every round of combat. This textbook is about the human brain, which is coincidentally also the only thing capable of comprehending it. It's a deal. I will buy. I'm gonna go to Rufus's lab and see. Do you want this rag back? What should I do with all the extra fishman eggs? Well, I can cook them for you. A pinch of lye and some muriatic acid, and they're totally edible. I don't want to know how you know that. He whips the glistening eggs together with some chemicals and fries them up over a Bunsen burner for you. Ever been to the ocean at low tide? Imagine frying that smell. You got an item, scrambled fishman eggs. It's actually a really powerful item, that said. You can't really scramble this kind of egg, but Rufus did his best. Gives you 5 HP regen per round. Thanks? Oh. Hello again. I'm still working on figuring out this pearl. Hey, come check with me later, okay? Okay. Fair enough. No continuation there. Much to my dismay. How high can I get our Moxie at this point? Because I may be able to get it all the way to the 12. If I'm looking for filter, maximize Moxie. If I recall, our food effect is not currently giving us Moxie. Our hat certainly isn't. Our pants certainly aren't either. So that's already 2. If I change the food over, that's an additional. Stylish sunglasses for another +1. Yeah, so potion, food. I've got to make sure that a potion or food change will be right for us. So let's look at our character sheet and our effects. From food, we have chili teeth. So as soon as I change that over, we will have our full 12 here. Beautiful. Filters, Moxie. I'm just gonna double check to make sure that I don't act. Okay, yeah, it's chili teeth. It's a food. It's a food. It's a food. I'm looking for a food. Making absolutely certain I get this right. It's the fish sandwich, samosa style, or the omelet style. Let's go samosa style. You nibble a corner of the samosa, and then you nibble another corner of it. And just when you think you're out of corners, nope, there's another one. After the third one, that's it though. No more corners. You gain an effect. So, Mosa. You've eaten an exotic food item and it's making you feel sophisticated and sassy. Don't need that to fear those. It's a big pile comprised of 80% garbage and 20% miscellaneous electrical parts. I search for something useful. I find a short-circuiting electrical prod. This thing is dangerous, but thanks to its insulated handle, it's only dangerous to everybody who isn't holding it. Deals your muscle +5 in physical damage, and reduces target's stats by 2. Yeah, it doesn't seem awful. But it doesn't deal with our Moxie, so it's still not great. 14 Moxie in order to get the next item from there. A little bit rich for my blood at the moment, unfortunately, friends. I'm gonna make my way. Let's go around for a wee bit of a wander here. See if we happen to find any new locations.
Homing!
Hello?
Do you find yourself in need of a fuse this fine day?
No thank you.
Until next semester then!
The man smiles and walks away. I continued where I was going. Psychogeologist for a little bit of powerful grit right there. We bamboozle the mouth and get some 10 experience. Yeah, this doesn't seem right. Some shadow mimicry occurring here. Okay, yes, take out the shadow beasts. The shadow homunculus, that is. I'll take that much physical armor at a time, but I got a lot of cold damage. Alright, some AoE from Sacks of Violence seems totally appropriate at this point in time. Their HP... yeah, doesn't seem high enough to really justify doing... doesn't seem high enough to really justify, you know, buffing my own Moxie as a priority. But if I can use the Tricky Timpani to just deal a bunch of damage while increasing my Moxie, hey, no reason not to do that, right? Ah, I see they are buffing themselves. Cool. Let's poison this Shadow Devil, prevent it from ever taking an action. I think a slick call for backup here might get me a little bit extra HP. Or not. That's fine. Or it isn't. Okay, future Ryan who is defeated. So here's what I think is now gonna happen. At some point in a future fight, I'm just gonna randomly die. Hopefully Mobius, me, manages to carry on the rest of that one. You won! There'll be no incomprehensible maybe satire on your watch. Like the monsters. A large goo beast. You wander into a science lab and arrive just to see several experiments go berserk and break their way out of beakers and petri dishes. Or to put it another way, you arrive a little too late not to be in trouble. A large goo beast knocks over a canister of liquid nitrogen, blocking the room's only exit with a wall of freezing fog, which is an impressively tactical move for something about 4 seconds old. I fight it. Of course I fight it. The lumbering ooze. Non-Newtonian globule. You know what, non-Newtonian globule? Got some tricky timpani work there. I'll take you out with only 2 actions. Follow up with a... heavy reduction in all of the stats of the main enemy, and then I'm going to take out the sinister vapor that was going to poison all of us ridiculously. Unfortunately, the lumbering ooze itself is immune to poison, but it is not immune to cold damage, which it dies to. We get some loose radiation. If you knew more about physics, you'd know how many rads of radiation this is. And if it was 70 years from now, you'd tell all your friends about how rad this is. Alright, I'm starting to feel like I'm not going to find an additional location over here at this point. What else did I come to SIT for? Greasy Steve! Of course I gotta go see Greasy Steve at Fish and Chips. I punch up the complex physics equations, making them a little funnier. Greasy Steve is too busy eating to nod, so he winks at you instead. I sit down. Greasy Steve swallows and drags his sleeve across the mouth.
Hey kid, good to see you. Have a French fry.
They have fries here? I didn't see that on the menu.
I bring my own from home.
I'll pass, thanks. What's the job?
The boss has decided we need to send a message to Congressman Chutney. You familiar?
Sure, a message or missive is when information is conveyed from one person to another.
I meant with the Congressman, Dullard.
Never met him.
His son Chandley's a student here. Lives in one of the frat houses, Zeta Omega Omicron.
I know that place. So
you're gonna make young Chad sleep with the fishes?
whoa, I didn't sign up for... Greasy Steed passes you a large sack of rotting fish. You got an item, bag of rotting fish. Ugh! This thing's dripping with every different kind of fish fluid. Why couldn't they have put it in something that didn't leak? Oh, well, I didn't sign up for this either.
Look, all you gotta do is get in that kid's room and just let pipe cinch.
I don't know what that means, but okay, I guess. You know, I did feel like there was a little less interaction at Zoo than I wanted there to be. And in fact, characters here who have clearly additional things to say. Just a frat guy doing a little queuing indoors. Guy's certainly cutting a rug, he's ahead of his time. There's Glordo. A back room. Oh, excuse me. A very old manhole cover, excuse me. Fishman Church? There were more fishman eggs? Weird glowing mushrooms everywhere. These fishmen are acting kind of strange. Well, stranger than usual. Well, as far as you can tell given your limited experience with fisherman behavior patterns. Maybe it has something to do with the weird altar over there. Absolutely gonna fight him. I have no reason not to. The fish mother is now dead. I assume. Now it's kind of just all fairs in love and war, you know? An acolyte. They all intend to attempt to exclusively heal the triangle. It looks like. Tricky timpani for some damage there. Another tricky timpani up there for some damage. A little bit of AoE damage. Takes out the first target. Gets a threat on that second target. We're going to do cold damage to the main target in line. That being the triangle itself. Poison upon the Fishman Acolyte in the back line. And we'll see whether or not I can wrap this up quickly. Looking like it. Get him! Only one damage, but then the Sacks of Violence takes out the final Fishman. You won! That one triangle won't be bothering any more Fishmen. Live experience. Professor Adams tells you some boring facts about the foes you just defeated. Are there any boring facts about an eldritch an eldritch, what's the word I'm looking for? Dominated, effectively? Fishman? And a shadow triangle? What's boring about them? You tell me. Maurice levels up though. An offering bowl full of jiggly, glistening fishman eggs. I grab them. Blech. Blech. You get some fishman roe. Do these make shadow fishmen? Is that what's going on here? A toolbox abandoned by some sewer worker in the past. See if it contains anything in the present. It contains spray on asbestos and self-adhesive rivets. Oddly, it only contains things fit for a sewer purpose. Also gonna do some fishing here with my hot rod, noting we have the time for it. We get a fish in the sack as well as 2 meat. Additional. I see what's going on here. It's, get additional things while you're fishing perk is just giving us also some meat while we do it. Fuse box is stuffed with celery. There's oleo over there. Tools are all gravy stained. Do I want to make... Yeah, I'm gonna make another nuclear bomb. Just gonna casually make another nuclear bomb here in the basement. I mean, if they didn't want me to make nuclear bombs, they would have told me something about that, right? You know? Don't split uranium-238 in my basement or something like that, right?
I think it's not splitting it.
It's U-238, right? But it's merging. Professor Adam. No, it's splitting the atom. Never mind. Professor Adams is looking around bemusedly. I got a little confused for a second there.
I must say, I didn't expect the future to have quite so much fighting in it.
Yeah, sorry. You've arrived at kind of a weird time. Or at least you're following someone who's in a weird situation?
Oh, think nothing of it. I was never one to shy away from a scrap in my youth, although those days are far behind me. Very far indeed, and exercise would do me a world of good.
Professor Adams' muscle increases by 1 immediately upon the realization of that. So we are at Zeta Omicron Omega. Ugh, someone spilled cantaloupe all over the stairs. How did that even happen? However, now we do have the ability to go upstairs. That's good. From the grunting and shouting, either there's a brawl or a sporting event taking place in this room. Possibly both. Actually, hang on, that might have just been the room where you find a bunch of Glockland. Stench armor over on the right side. You know what? Let's get our stench armor on so that we can go into the bathroom. And I'm also going to do a thing where I equip the fishing rod to see if this is... Because there was a comment saying that you can only fish in toilets if you have the fishing rod directly equipped. I want to see if that's true. Because it would certainly make sense as to why I randomly got a ring out of a toilet the other time. Although it will also then mean that I need to go back and see every single toilet again. Not a sight I'm looking forward towards. With our additional stench armor, we can go on in. This is just a pile of toilet shards. The toilet still works and the spirit's broken. I fish in it. Yep, absolutely. You'd prefer not to speculate on how exactly that ended up down there. A waterlogged frat paddle rather. It's a melee weapon. This paddle has had a bunch of holes drilled in it to make it way easier to flush down a toilet. Deals your muscle +6 in stench damage. A thing that we don't have that much access to otherwise. Okay, we've definitely been in that room before, right? Because I've seen the art one. This gold-plated door has a sign on it that says Sea Chutney. It seems reasonable to assume the C stands for Chadley. I go inside. You sneak into Chad's room and dump the rotting fish out into his bed. After tonight's rager, he'll stagger back to his room and pass out without even noticing them. The perfect crime. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. It's probably smarter not to return to the scene of the rotting fish crime. I'll agree on that front and then make our way very carefully across the road to Fish and Chips. Pick up some Fustulent Grulch on our way. Just report to Greasy Steve that it's done. You sit down across from him.
How's it go, kid? You got some news for me?
Yeah, the kid's bed is full of fish. It was a lead pipe cinch, like you said. I still don't know what that means, though.
Nobody does. That's what makes it such a great turn of phrase. Anyway, nice job, kid. Now Congressman Chutney will know who you're really dealing with.
He sure will. You got an item, a briefcase full of meat.
Let me open that.
You open the case and that's a lot of gotta go. Yeah, yes, things turn from meat having done so. We're carrying around the Fustulent Grulch still. You know what? All of the things here that I do not own, I would like a copy of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Cool. Run away with those. Ovid, is your store still open? Because if it is, I think you might have something I might still want. You seem to have taken a wrong turn somewhere. Unless you were trying to get into a subterranean maintenance tunnel filled with steam pipes? Maybe you were, considering it's SIT after all. You turn around and start to head back, but a homemade, well, classroom made? Probably. Maintenance robot trundles into view and turns a valve wheel. Hot steam shoots out of an ear to my pipe, blocking your exit. Hey, robot, turn that steam off. Beep, boop. Well, fine, I'll do it in my beep, beep. Ah, come on! I walk through the steam and am dealt a whole lot of pain. Grumbling, you walk through the hot steam to get out of the tunnel. Well, grumbling at first, and then screaming, and then a repetitive ow, 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 ow. You got an item. Or an effect, rather, the wind knocked out of you. You do not recover AP during combat. Your breath is like a break, in that you're always having trouble catching it. Of course, Ovid isn't here anymore. I set him all the way up in the different town in Ocean City. Time for us to check on him there. I mean, obviously we should check on Murray's Antiques first and see if we have a... Yeah, we do have another message from Don. I called the mob back. Salutary greetationing. The person who has activated this telephonic mechanism and with whom you are now conversating is known as Don Toblerone. I thought your boss told you to keep it brief now. We have devised and then agreed upon an arrangement deemed satisfactory to both parties. Let me guess, you're paying the phone bill? Your guessing prowess is preternatally efficacious. Preternaturally efficacious, rather. That's what they tell me. You got another job?
Once again, the particularity of this undertakingment are being held in escrow and will be transmitted to you oriously by our colleague who...
Greasy Steve, got it. Okay, bye. I'm happy to follow the Greasy Steve line as far as we can get with it right now, certainly. What was the thing I was looking to buy in this area? There was the thing I was still looking to buy in this area. It wasn't one of the instruments. Not one of the instruments, because I don't need an instrument right now. Anything from Ovid, of course, at the Hobo Camp. Hey, Ovid. What you got? It's Ovid Lobdell, this shopkeeper from SIT. You know, the bad guy. I talked to him. Oh, hey, my messenger friend. I never got your name. Hi, Ovid. I'm Ryan. Thanks for pointing me here. Business is booming. I see what he's selling. Binaclip. Have a load of those. A Jocelyn pom-pom. I do not have this. This is an offhand item. Instead of just shaking your fist angrily at the sky, shake this at it. It won't be any more effective, but it will be more entertaining to onlookers. Increases all of your allies' muscle, mysticality, and moxie by your muscle once per fight. That's really, 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 really powerful. Oh, wow. I'm gonna be taking that. Mechanical calculator, got one of them. Pocket chemical hand warmer. An on-demand exothermic chemical reaction sealed in plastic? You gotta get this in your pants! Plus one cold armor to a pair of pants, a roll of duct tape, which we already have, and a sports drink. I'm gonna take the outstanding item for us there. And, oh, Walter the Fishy Hobo! Here, Walter.
Oh, hey, thanks for telling me about this place. It's a fine little community.
Nice, glad to see you're settling in.
Yep, I'm accustomed to the solitary life of a fisherman, but it's nice to have some folks to come home to at the end of the day. And nobody's complained about the smell.
Well, good.
Hey, hands off my telephone.
Hey, Johnny.
What can I do for you, Ryan?
So, about those secret pans.
I admit it. You've been quite helpful. You, at first, a total stranger, have gone out of your way to help hobos and other people of the country, and even the government itself, when even the government itself, rather, would not.
We have had this conversation before, and then he told me to do a thing for him, and then I did the thing by getting Ovid Lobdell to come here. So is that going to progress anything, or what's up with that? Doesn't look like it at the moment, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Letters McCabe. Any additional stuff to tell me? Not at the moment. Okay, fair enough. So, the other thing that I wanted to do is going to be on the Don Toblerone's list. Yeah, go back to the Greasy Steve. I can do that quite quickly, in fact. I thought I was going to start this, start the next day, today. Well, I guess I have no choice but to start the next day today, in a sense, but I thought I was certainly going to be doing it in this episode. Doesn't look that likely at this point in time. Let's cross the road for fish and chips. You decide to take a shortcut down an alley between two buildings, as opposed to any other kind of alley, I guess, but find your path blocked by an open manhole spewing thick greenish-brown steam. It smells like you'd expect. Unfortunately, when you turn around to head back, you find three fishmen slithering out of the shadows to block your path. Hey there, fellas. How's it going? That good, huh? I jump in the manhole because I have 5 stench armor. You make a break for the other end of the alley, holding your breath to jump through the cloud of foul-smelling steam. The fishmen are unfazed by the smell, of course, but they're surprised at your actions, and the fact that one of them falls down a manhole gives you enough of a head start that you manage to make your escape. Now you just need a way to escape the rotting sewer smell clinging to your clothes and hands, skin. I get 11 experience and say bleh. Greasy Steve gives you a serious nod. Let's sit down. What's up with the grim look, Steve?
Got a serious job for you this time, kid, and it ain't gonna be easy.
After those last 2 jobs, I could use a challenge.
That's an attitude that'll take you far, kid. Maybe right off a cliff, it'll take you far.
So what's the job?
There's this vampire like a real mean son of a bitch. She got one of our couples really steamed. Like really steamed, as in literally steamed the guy to death.
What?
It's one of those mist-type vampires, you know, but real hot. And I don't mean hot as in good-looking, whoa, got my eyes go out my head.
I see. Maybe.
The fight was in the steam tunnels on the SIT. We managed to seal the thing up in there, but someone's gotta go take care of it for good.
And that's where I come in, huh?
That's the long and short of it, kid. Here's the combination to the door, but don't go in there half-cocked.
He hands you a folded slip of paper and a sack of rotting vegetables. You don't know what kind of vegetables they are, and you're certainly not going to open the bag to find out. It deals your muscle +4 in sleaze damage. How are these supposed to help?
They're not. I just want you to throw them away for me. Hell, keep them. I don't care.
Swell, thanks. We are honestly quite ridiculously good at combat. I'm so deeply unintimidated. I use the combination. Steve's note says 1, 2, 3. Jeez, those guys. You dial in the combo and the lock clicks open. I head inside. This old disintegrating boiler is currently being powered by a bunch of burning garbage. The vampires seem to be enjoying the hot steam. I consider the boiler. If you could replace the water in the boiler with holy water, that'd put a crimp in their fun. You'd only need like 100 gallons of it. Where am I gonna get 100 gallons of holy water? Hey, don't ask me, I'm just suggesting things. Wait, aren't vampires also allergic to running water, even if the water isn't holy? Does steam count as running water? Come back later, maybe with 100 gallons of holy water. I don't know, maybe I can get my mysticality that high, actually. Let's have a look at our mysticality increases. If I change hat, that's a +1 immediately. If I change pants, that's another +1. We're already up on 9. What do I need, like 16 or something? There's an accessory that gives us 1. There's a hat that, well, there's a hat that gives us 1. You have the hat. Food, potion. And then there's only foods and potions. So I'd be able to get my mysticality to a total of 12 here, which is a fair sight short of the 15 that I'm going to require in order to actually solve this problem with the mysticality. However, can I get 100 gallons, maybe? Is it theoretically possible at all I could get that? Because if it is, actually hang on, the WC here has a toilet. Let me use the fishing rod for that. We get a toilet cleaning rag, an offhand item. This is a toilet rag you entered to dislodge from a toilet. It's a real old lady who swallowed a toilet rag kind of situation. Must inflicts poison equal to your muscle to one opponent once per fight. I splashed some water on my face to get the wind knocked out of me. Sorry. That's a manhole right there as well. I knew there were more of these. All sales revolting. A fisherman restaurant? Given this cat's condition, it can only really be named Stinky. I put on my appropriate defense and then pat the cat. New cat unlocked! You can now pet Stinky to receive a boon. I pet it. Stinky has 3 sleaze armor as a boon rather than 1 muscle. I'm gonna keep my current boon. A big pile of ingredients emits a record-breaking stench. You get the sense that these are actually the clean dishes. And this pot is catching all the grease that drips down through the ceiling. I'm gonna fish in it with my hot rod. Hot rod! We gain some nasty goo. You've got enough nasty goo already, no need to fish up more. Okay, so that's the source of nasty goo if I need it. The fisherman behind the counter regards you cheerfully. I ask what's for sale. He seems delighted that you've asked. He plonks a tin bucket full of raw, chopped up fish guts onto the counter, and then garnishes it with a lemon wedge. He makes an expansive gesture at it like a used car salesman, and then waggles all 10 of his fingers at you. I buy it for 10 meat. He takes your meat excitedly and pushes the bucket towards you, along with a bent tin fork and a hardly used paper napkin. You're pretty sure you see one of the fish heads twitch as you pick up the bucket. Bucket of chum. Food. This bucket contains a feast fit for a king. As long as this is the king of some kind of disgusting fisherman kingdom, and his throne is a gross toilet. Increases your moxie by 1. Only 1, interesting. He roots around behind his counter for something else to sell you. He holds up a fishing spear with a whole, still wiggling, fish impaled on it. From his gestures and excited babbling, it seems like you get to keep the spear is the main selling point here. When you ask how much, he flashes his outstretched fingers at you twice. I buy it for 20 meat. He bows graciously as he hands you the spear. While he's distracted with your meat, you nonchalantly slide the fish off the end of the spear and kick it away without him noticing. I get a fishman throwing spear, a combat item. If you were smaller, this would be a normal spear. If you were bigger, it would be a dart. At your current size, it's kind of a javelin, I guess? Tree bleeding to an enemy? Eesh. He roots around behind his counter for something else to sell you. He finds a small glass bottle filled with some kind of oil. His gestures seem to indicate that it's freshly squeezed. He then holds up one finger and quickly holds it up 5 more times. I buy it for 6 meat. Gaining fish liver oil, which increases your muscle by 1 until you use another potion. The fishmen carry little vials of this stuff around to protect their skin from the open air. You pay him the meat from the bottle, which is somehow greasier on the outside than it is. Sorry, and take the bottle, which is somehow greasier on the outside than it is on the inside. He roots around behind the counter for something else to sell you. This time he puts up a bucket of chum on the counter and gives you a big grin and 2 thumbs up. Then he holds up both hands worth of fingers, and then a third hand. When you protest that it was only 10 the first time, he holds up a card that says, market price. I buy it. You hand him the meat and take the bucket. This one seems to have more random guts and organs in it than the first one. Is that good or bad? He seems to be out of goods, but not wanting to turn away the best customer ever, he plops a big handful of fishman eggs on the counter. He holds up one outstretched hand and then repeats it and closes it 12, 13, 14 more times. I buy that for 75 meat. He takes the meat with an expression of pure delight and grabs your hand with a wet handshake, and you politely disengage as soon as possible. You got an item fishman row. Woo! He doesn't have anything else for sale, thank God. I'm honestly mostly pleased that we got another cat to pet there. I must collect them all. A brown loaf cod. Ugh. Another fish for the sack. A little bit of extra money as well. All that's working fine. I do also kind of want to do like a... I realize how terrible this sentence sounds, but a toilet tour? I kind of want to go around to every toilet that I've seen before while I have the rod in my hand. It really seems like that's going to be helpful. Where can I find more toilets? Culinary science, frozen food, the Athena button. Wow. I've graduated this school and you're not even gonna let me check out the gymnasium? Paradox Lab is only open if it's closed. I wanted to see if it would reference the fact that we created a star in the night sky via punching the birthday card of Gaius Julius Caesar Divus into space. You know, I actually don't think I'm going to start my search for every single toilet right now, and I think instead find out the vampires that locked up in the SIT steam tunnels. I think at this point, really, we do want to make our way to the start of the next day. So, I'm gonna get my way back to Ocean City. I'm gonna take my butt into Murray's Antiques. I'm gonna go into the bedroom. I'm gonna stand next to the bed. And at the start of the next episode, we are going to finally start the next day, and with it, the next chapter. But until then, my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Series Playlist. It's up in the top left. YouTube recommendation is down below that. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully see you next time. Well, the name of the game has been Shadows Over Loathing, but the series playlist itself is the one in the top left. The Shadows Over Loathing, it says it on the thing, so I had thought that I could skip it, but then it kind of